You said this because you got called out by a bunch of people who said you couldn't do guide work because you're not visually impaired. Having migraines does not make you visually impaired. There are migraine alert dogs for that. Guide dogs aren't for migraines. They're for people who are legally blind and completely blind, not for someone who has migraines. And even if your vision does go in and out, mine goes in and out all the time. But that doesn't make you qualify for a guide dog. And you don't even know if Astro can do good with guide. But because you are not visually impaired, you cannot teach him guide. You can teach him forward momentum pulling. You still have guide work in your bio. Girl, stop fucking lying and trying to act innocent when you're not. You really aren't. This is what you do, is you make it sound like you're the victim when you're not. All we said is you can't do guide work because you're not visually impaired and you're not blind. We told you you could do forward momentum pulling. You didn't like that answer. So you started making up stories and coming after us for every little thing. And you started copying other handlers' videos. Girl, be for real. You are doing the most right now. You really are. I mean, wow, it's unbelievable. Because here, let me go find my screenshot of your bio. Oh, wait, here's a screenshot real quick. He might not be cut out for that. And plus, he's about to get into his teenage phase, so that's not going to be good to try to start training guide when you shouldn't even be doing that in the first place because you're not visually impaired or blind. For a guide dog, For a guide dog, applicants must be legally blind and can demonstrate the need for a guide dog to help them remain safe and effective in their everyday travel. If you do actually have vision problems and need a guide dog, then you would use a white cane. Here's what I found when I asked Google, if I have migraines that affect my vision, can I have a guide dog? This is what popped up. It didn't say anything about guide dogs, it just told me about migraine service dogs. Here's how much vision to be able to qualify for a guide dog. So there's that. And here's your bio. It says guide work right there. But yet you claim to say that you're not doing guide work anymore and that you're not going to do that because your butt hurt that you got called out for being in the wrong and being uneducated about guide dogs. Guide dogs are for the blind and visually impaired. They are not for medical alert. They are not for POTS, fainting, epilepsy, nothing like that. You can train your dog to follow people, and find things for you and navigate for you, but that is not guide. They are different. It's different than forward momentum pulling. You can 100% do forward momentum pulling. That is what Lucy does. But the handle that I use, I call it her guide handle when I'm referring to her harness. Well, yes, it's not an official guide handle or whatever. That's what I call it. But I don't claim her to do guide. I say she does forward momentum pulling because that's the correct term. Because I'm the one who's educated about things like this. And you're right, you can train your own guide dog, but the ADA does not say anything about training your own guide dog. It says you can train your own service dog. It doesn't specify about guide dogs. And if you like I have never met a self-trained guide dog. I've never met or heard of someone who has trained their own guide dog. Because if you are truly visually impaired, it would be hard to teach your dog how to help you when you can't even see everything to then help train your dog to help you. Guide dogs can't get startled easily. They have to be, I'm not saying they have to be bomb-proof, but they have to be stable, confident. They have to know road boundaries. There's so many things that a dog has to have, like skill-wise, for them to be able to be a guide dog. And I don't think Astro has any of those. But right here, it says guide work, but you claim that you're not going to do guide work. You're copying other handlers. You talked about Astro's on and off switch. One of my friends made a video about that, and their video was up first, and then you saw that video and decided to put up your own video about Astro's on and off switch when my friend was talking about their dogs. And you copied them. You also got butthurt when my friend gave an opinion about a certain dog breed, and then you got offended because you thought it was referring to Astro, when it wasn't. It had nothing to do with you. It was simply just a statement. It wasn't towards anyone. It was literally just her saying something. But because, you make everything about you, you're over dramatic, and you try to act all innocent after someone calls you out for things. Come on, girl, be for real. Get over yourself. You're not that special. And I love how you're trying to have your subscribers stand up for you, because they're also in the wrong. All of you are extremely uneducated about guide dogs and service work and what is visually impaired and what is not. Really? Come on. We wouldn't have this problem if you wouldn't do things like this. You are not visually impaired. Having migraines does not make you visually impaired, even if your doctor said you're visually impaired. That's not visually impaired. If you're so visually impaired, you would have a white cane, and then you would get a guide dog, because every dog has off days, and you would have to know how to use a white cane before you can even get a guide dog, just in case your guide dog is sick, having an off day, or is hurt and can't work. You have to know how to be able to use a white cane. And you can see well enough to where you don't need a white cane, therefore there is no reason to train Astro Guide when you're not visually impaired. Migraines have nothing to do with, migraines don't fall under visually impaired. My grandpa is considered by the state legally blind. They told him, hey, would you like a guide dog? We feel like you would really benefit from that. Because no surgeries can help him. Glasses, contacts, nothing like that can help his vision. He's not allowed to drive. He's not allowed to work any tools. He's not allowed to work any heavy machinery. He's not allowed to do a lot of things. They said, hey, would you like a guide dog to help you see and help you navigate the world, because we are deeming you legally blind. Excuse me. He declined it. My friend, completely blind in one eye, has a cataract in the other, and is learning how to use a white cane in the meantime while his guide dog is being trained for him. He was deemed by the state legally blind. He is getting a surgery, like he's gonna get a surgery to help try to fix his cataract in his one eye, but it might not be fixable, and he's completely blind in the other eye. So the state was like, hey, we should look into getting you a guide dog. I feel like this would help you a lot. So his guide dog is currently being trained for him right now because he is considered legally blind. Not blind, but legally blind. Last time I checked, you aren't any of those. You said the only reason you would need Astro to do guide is during your migraine episodes when your vision is going in and out. And that's not a reason to teach him guide. That's not visually impaired at all. It's really not. My vision goes in and out all the time, no matter what I'm doing. My contacts will stop helping me. Same with my glasses. But I don't say I'm visually impaired, even though my vision goes in and out all the time. I've had my eyes checked. That's why I now have contacts. But having migraines, which cause your vision to go in and out, doesn't make you visually impaired enough to have a guide dog. Like, girl, go get educated about this before you even try to come after us for calling you out on something you're wrong about. We could call you out on so many things. Like, you were coming after me for Lucy wearing a gentle leader when I have never used her gentle leader. Some guide dogs even actually have gentle leaders because not everyone can tell where that dog's head is going. So then they have the gentle leader to feel in the leash to know where their guide dog's head is turning, so they know which way to follow. They use gentle leaders. Gentle leaders don't damage your dog's neck unless you don't know how to use one. Ollie wears a gentle leader. His neck is super strong and he's fine. He pulls on that thing like crazy. And he'll pull on it by himself and he'll try to drag us to something that he thinks he needs to have, like sniff a tree or a certain spot in the yard. And he ends up having his head go up on his own, but it doesn't affect him. Like, yeah, it slows him down and doesn't let him drag us, but it's not hurting his neck. We even talked to the vet about it, like, hey, is his neck fine? And they're like, yeah, no, it's actually, he's got a super strong neck. He's in perfect physical condition. He's super healthy. The only thing they said is because of his size and breed-wise, he's a little underweight, but they were like, well, we're not super concerned because he's super active, and all of our dogs are grazers, so we can leave food out, and they eat when they want. And Luce, she's enjoying her belly scratches. But my point is, you came after me for something that you didn't even know what you were talking about. Had you paid attention to all of my videos, yes, Lucy does wear a gentle leader. Do I ever use it? No. I've never clipped a leash to that gentle leader ever. It is simply there, and I'm kind of taking her gentle leader to my advantage because she's used to it. And with her being used to having something on her face, that gives me an advantage when it comes to me continuing to do muzzle training with her. Is Astro muzzle trained? Because in my opinion, every dog should be muzzle trained. I'm working on trying to find and afford a muzzle for Ollie. They do not make a muzzle that I can find that will give him pant room. But because Lucy is already used to her gentle leader, later on when I start doing muzzle training more and again, she'll tolerate it even more, and she's not gonna fight it or anything. I mean, sure, at first she's gonna be really confused and pissed off at me, but I'm using her gentle leader to my advantage. She's used to that, and because she's already used to that, that can help her be a little more, I don't know what word I'm trying to say, but it makes muzzle training a lot easier. At least it's going to. But my point is what you do is you copy and you complain to other people, and anytime you get called out, you get all butthurt and try and turn it on us, and you get defensive over every single little thing, and you try to make every single little thing about you when it's not about you, sweetheart. You're not as special as you think you are. Okay, you're really not. You really are not. I mean, you can absolutely think you're super duper special, but you're not that special. And you need to stop turning things on us all because you're butthurt about something we said and corrected you on because you didn't know what you were talking about, even though you like to think you do, when you really don't. But you got all butthurt all because we told you could not do guide work with Astro because you are not visually impaired. Migraines just because you have migraines does not make you visually impaired. Migraines does not qualify enough for you to train Astro to do guide work. It just really doesn't. And I was hoping you would get smart over the next couple days, but it seems like you're not. And most of your subscribers aren't smart either because they think that guide dogs are for everyone and that you can teach a dog guide when you're not visually impaired, which is incorrect. You can teach a dog forward momentum pulling, which is completely different than guide work. Y'all need to be more educated before you even try to say you know what you're talking about and start defending people. You don't see, she keeps editing and deleting her comments. She does. She's deleted comments on several of my friends' videos, my videos, and then she turns around and acts all innocent. She's manipulating you all, but you guys are too stupid to see it. I personally deal with family members who are narcissistic and manipulating. Kiley is being narcissistic and manipulating. She's also being controlling. You guys are falling for the stupidest shit. Come on, open your eyes and don't be so stupid. She doesn't know what she's doing, but she's too stuck up to ask for help. I asked for help, and I got it. It's not a sin, and it's not illegal to ask for some help and some extra support when you're struggling with things. Because I've never had a service dog before other than Lucy, and I've never trained a dog like this until her. When she was struggling a lot, I didn't know what to do, so I asked for help and support so I knew how to handle this and so I could go about it the right way, and I didn't have to pull her from PA even longer. It's not a bad thing to ask for help or support. Everyone needs help and support, no matter what the topic is. In my case, I asked for help and support based on Lucy's behavior. She was having lots of off days. So I was asking for recommendations on how to help get her through those off days. It's not a bad thing. I know plenty of service dog handlers who have asked for help from other service dog handlers. The reason Lucy was out for an entire month was because I had other things that I had to worry about, and I couldn't give her that one-on-one time that I felt like she needed. So I didn't attempt to work with her and try to see if she was ready to go back into public access because I knew I couldn't give her my full attention. And I wanted to give her my full attention. She needed my full attention. But the entire time she was out of PA, all she wanted to do was work. Anytime I was getting ready to leave and go somewhere, she knows her gear. She would go stand by it and look at me and wiggle because she got excited thinking she was going. Anytime we went to the fish tank, which is where we keep all the dog stuff and dog treats, she thought she was going somewhere. She thought she was going to get to go to work. And it was sad that I couldn't do that, but I wasn't going to make her suffer because I couldn't give her that one-on-one time that I felt like she should have gotten. She did. But I didn't have the time to take, I wasn't able to take time and work with her until I was done with the family chaos. Once the family chaos was over, I worked with her as much as she was willing to do. And I gave her my one-on-one attention. She had my full attention. I gave her everything. You could ask for help, Kylie. You know, it's not a bad thing to ask for help. Everyone needs help and support every now and then. It's not a bad thing. It's not something, like, I'm not embarrassed that I had to ask for help. I don't know everything, but I do know that you don't know everything either, like you claim to. You don't know anything about guide dogs. Obviously, since you think Astro can be one. And you don't know a lot of other things, too. You're copying other handlers, like I said. You're copying a lot of my friends, mainly. And, yeah. But you get butthurt and try to act all innocent and turn it on us, all because we called you out for the littlest thing. You're the one who needs to grow up, not us. We're the ones who are trying to help you before you cause damage to Astro. I've seen it happen before. Everyone makes mistakes, and as long as you're willing to fix your mistakes, it's not that big of a deal. But in the long run, you could be affecting Astro in a bad way by trying to do things like this that he's not capable of doing. He is 10 months old, and you expect so much out of him. He's getting to his teenage phase, and he's going to retaliate, and he's going to do so much things, and you're not going to like it. You're not. And that's going to be sad because you're going to act in a different way because he's acting a certain way. Ask for help. It's not a bad thing to ask for help. I struggle with asking for help because I get embarrassed, but do I still do it? Yeah, it's not a bad thing to ask for help. I ask for help with several things. I've had friends who know a lot more than I do ask for help from me. They ask for help and support from me, and I give them that. You could ask your subscribers for help. You could ask me and other handlers for help because you don't know what you're doing when it comes to things like guide work. Because you can't do guide work with Astro. You are not visually impaired and you're not blind. Migraines have nothing to do with visual impairments. You do not qualify for him to do guide work. And you need to drop it and stop. You need to stop acting like we are stabbing you and saying things and twisting up things that we have said and turning on us when all we said, like, we're literally just trying to educate you, but you're too stuck up to realize that, and you don't want to admit that you're wrong and you don't know what you're doing. I'll admit I didn't know what I was doing when we got Ollie. Neither did my mom. But now, over time, I do know what I'm doing a little more with him because I've never had an abused rescue. I've never had any abused dog in my life. Neither has my mom. So we didn't know what to do with him at first. Neither did anyone in my family. And then with dog reactivity, he's not the first dog we've had that's been reactive towards other dogs. He is our second dog that has had that. But now that we have had him, and he's our second dog that has been reactive like that, we now know what we're doing a little more because we know what to expect and we know how to help him. And that's what we're doing. But I did admit, like, hey, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. This is something I've never done or had or know about. Like, I didn't know much about dog reactivity and leash reactivity. So I sat my ass down and I educated myself. I watched videos of dogs who were reactive and about positive reinforcement based on around reactivity and all that. Now with Ollie, he made it harder because he's not very toy motivated or food motivated, anything like that. So with videos, a lot of the time they would use food or they would use something that the dog liked. Ollie's picky and stubborn, so there wasn't a whole lot we could do at the time until I looked more into it, and then I found what works for him. Me and my mom found out what works for him, and now we do that and we follow through. You could do the same thing. This just needs to stop. If you stop saying you know what you're talking about when it comes to guide dogs and guide work and visually impaired and the blind, as long as you stop saying that you know what you're talking about when you don't, and you stop thinking that you can do guide work with Astro, all of this would go away. If you stop copying other handlers and my friends, a lot of it will go away. If you just admit you don't know everything about what you say you do, we wouldn't be here. We honestly wouldn't. I was nice about this until you started being a bitch. Then I started being a bitch. I simply gave you the nicest opinion ever. I gave you nice suggestions, and you took that and decided that you didn't want to hear those. When I said you don't have to listen to me, I simply suggested, I was like, here's a suggestion. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but this is what worked for me, or this is what I know. You turned that around on me. You said I was being rude and I was bullying you for not knowing something. And I wasn't. You started this fire, and I'm going to turn your fire off. There is no need for all of this. Just admit that you were wrong and that you could use a little more learning, and that's just fix your mistake. You don't know what you're talking about when it comes to guide dogs, and you know nothing about guide work. Just say that, and most of this will go away. I almost guarantee it. I know that I don't always know what I'm talking about or doing when it comes to dogs, but I do know a lot. I've had dogs my entire life. I've been working with professional trainers. Like currently I'm working with some professional trainers, not with my dogs, but just in general to get some more training experience so that I can build my own business up. I'm working with personal protection dogs with some professional trainers. I get to be the decoy. I get to do a lot of things with these dogs, and I'm lucky to be able to do things like that. But I wanted to learn about these things. I said, hey, I want to learn about show dogs or sport dogs, personal protection dogs, bite work dogs, because there's a difference between personal protection, there's a difference between guard, and there's a difference between bite work. I am learning all of those differences, and I'm getting lots of experiences, and I'm learning new things, and I'm being open-minded about learning new things, and I'm not saying, oh yeah, I already know about that, when I don't. I know I'm still learning about all of the personal protection dogs, guard dogs, bite work dogs. I'm still learning about that. This is only my second week working with those dogs, and I only work with them on the weekends. And I don't even work with them the entire weekend. I have bruises everywhere from those dogs biting me in the suit. But I'm getting a lot of experience and I'm learning a lot. I'm getting to know these dogs' behaviors. I'm getting to know what the time and the training that goes into dogs like this. After I learn about this, the next thing that I'm going to learn about is program service dogs. Since a lot of service dogs are owner trained. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So then I'm going to go learn about the different kind of program service dogs, like seizure alert dogs, migraine alert dogs, POTS, and so much more. I'm going to go learn about that because I don't know everything about those dogs. I don't know everything about disabilities like that. So I'm going to go learn. And Kylie, I personally think you should go do the same before you try and come after me and my friends and turn it on us and act all innocent when you're not. Okay, just go educate yourself and then we wouldn't have any problems like this. It's as simple as that.